You know, why the hell am I doing this? I mean, I'm going to have to raise a couple of $100,000. I'm going to have to endure the slings and arrows of my opponent and his supporters. Why am I going? I mean, spending the amount of money for a town council seat, this amount of money is ridiculous. So why do I do it? I do it because I love public service. That's what I've done my whole life. Senior positions in state government, senior positions in the federal government. Making government work in a democracy is not an easy thing to do. As we can see in Washington and in Tallahassee and a whole lot of other kinds of places. Another thing is, I haven't had an opponent for 8 years. So it makes sense that I be held accountable, that I come out in front of the voters and the people and tell them what I stand for, why I made some of the votes I made. Some of the people may question them, and why I am here and why I want to continue. So I always start out by saying, 10 years ago, this town was not in a great place. We were arguing over who would pay for sand, people on the ocean or people throughout the town. See Ed smiling because he was involved in that. We were arguing over undergrounding. We were firing our town manager at the time. Maggie actually played a key role in that. Yeah, we got a great one now. Yeah, absolutely.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Employees were leaving because pensions and pay were lower than what the sheriff was doling out or the county was doling out. It was not a terrific place to be. Even Worth Avenue, that icon of Palm Beach, even Worth Avenue, we were considering on council whether or not to go with an RFP for a consulting company that would come and revitalize Worth Avenue. I will look at it today. But at that time, there were empty storefronts, and Worth Avenue was not in such great shape 10 to 12 years ago. And then along came COVID. And COVID created tremendous changes and tremendous challenges for the town. It was huge growth, not just here in Palm Beach, in terms of the shift in population, older people moving across the bridge to the Bristol and places like that, and about 400 young people coming in. Wall Street South, that's what we were, Wall Street South, inundated with folks coming in from north of here. And that created changes, that created challenges, and it also created traffic. That was a part of it too. So Palm Beach now is a different place than it was 10 years ago. Most people like it, as Maggie pointed out. There was a poll that was taken, I think 3 years ago, as part of our strategic planning process that said 90% of the people who live in Palm Beach love it. But there are those who don't love it. And we have to respect and we have to understand what is going on there. So, what has my record been during the course of the 8 years that I've been on council? Well, as Mark said in his remarks, look around. You've got the marina. You've got the rec center. You have that whole new Flagler development where before you had Dog Patch with stripes moving people out of the old gas station. You've got the Oco Ambassador coming in the south end. Lots of good things have happened to this town. I'm not saying I did them. In fact, those good things that have happened to this town are the work of the council, the work of town staff, and the work of some of you, some 50 or so members on our town boards and commissions who have made up the major part of our decision-making power. All of you who are on those boards and commissions, we thank you. So, what are my priorities? My first priority is code reform. We have a great comp plan And we've gone through about a year and a half of work to create that comprehensive plan. And it is finally at the point where we have some major tools that can guide development. Town serving, intensity standards, which we have to develop yet. The town plan gives us a blueprint for moving forward and curbing unwanted development. But the code is a shop-worn 1970s era code that does not fit the way Palm Beach is today. That process of code reform is starting in our Planning and Zoning Commission. Billy Gilbane has been a key actor in that, Gail Caniglio, a lot of others. Once we marry a reformed code brought up to date and can regulate uses in districts and can provide a standard for intensity, once we have that and marry that to the comprehensive plan, then we have the tools we need to really control and curb unwanted development. Right now, there are a lot of vested interests that property owners have, and we can't go against that. We have to work with that. But the code will give us much better tools to deal with that. My second priority is trying to hold on to our uniqueness, our beauty, our charm in this town. What makes Palm Beach Palm Beach? I have a 3P program that will get us there. The first P is preservation. Working hard to landmark as many buildings or make them historic buildings as we possibly can. I think we have right now over 360 landmarked or historic buildings that have been designated in town, and we need to go further. But that's the first thing. The second thing is planting. I directed the Department of Public Works in council to put together a master tree plan for the town. That tree plan will look at the possibilities for doing more shade tree planting throughout the town, whether it's North End, South End, Midtown, what have you. We really need that to beautify our town and to keep it fresh. And we had our first report last week in response to the directive that I gave. And I said to them, what it should look like is a box of chocolates. There should be options all over the place. Small options. We don't have to plant an entire park with trees, but there are great spots where, for example, Dunbar comes up against the inlet. There's a kind of a blank space there. That might be a good place for trees. The whole idea is to give the town options for more tree planting. And the third P, and it's frustrating for some people, I know, is paving. The problem is, and I did direct the Public Works Department, and they're working on it, is to put together a paving master plan so that we will know when finally all the streets are paved, and after that, on what schedule will continuing paving take place. Right now, the gaps in our paving are due mainly to the fact that we have not finished undergrounding, not pulled the poles out of those areas. Pulling poles takes very heavy equipment. If we were to pave an area and then pull that heavy equipment in there, we'd have to repave that area again. I'm told that by the beginning of next season, every area but one, that's area 6, in the middle of town, will be paved, and that by the end of the following season, that area will be paved too. And then we will have an ongoing paving plan. The third area is what I guess I would call unwanted development. I will not approve any development project that comes up, a commercial development project that comes up that is not town serving and that goes beyond what the property owner has in terms of his or her vested rights in that property. And I want to tell you that the decision that I made and two of my colleagues made on the Paramount fits those criteria. 75% of the members of that small supper club will be from the town of Palm Beach. And in terms of the vested rights that the owner has in this property, his whole proposal has been reduced to a quivering ash. He's got almost nothing left. 225 people in that club, and that's now down to 210. So the project has completely reduced, and if he were to do what he could do by right with that property, it would be far more impactful in terms of traffic, in terms of parking, and what have you. And why is that? Because the second and third floors is only a single family home. And the uses in that building are not open at the same time. Club is open at 6 p.m. So I'm not in favor of developments that go beyond what the developer's property rights, vested property rights are. So this election, I think, is about change. Palm Beach is a constantly evolving community, as we have seen over the last 10 years. We're not what we were. We're in a different place. And frankly, a one-size-fits-all, just say no approach, holding people up at the bridge until they prove they're 33480. I mean, that just isn't going to work, and it can't work because people have property rights, because the state owns A1A and the county owns County Road. We don't own the streets. So all of that is down to us, and it's down to us to fix. So just say no is not a solution. Residents first. Residents first can be looked at as being divisive. Which residents are we talking about? We have several different groups and classes of residents. We have elderly people in the towers and in the Biltmore. We have the South End, another community. We have the 450 or so young people who moved into Osceola and around the club up there. We have Midtown residents. It's not residents first. It's community first. And that's the job of a town council person, to take those views from the different parts of our community, meld them together, and come up with the best result for our town. Not everybody is going to be happy or satisfied. Not everybody is going to be pleased, but it's our role to make the best judgments that we possibly can. I believe I have done that. I believe my opponent has absolutely no experience in making tough decisions. And I believe that I have earned your vote to become a continuing incumbent councilor. My name is Lew Crampton, and I am the man with a plan.